Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. My name is Larry. Today we're going to talk about retirement myths or lies. Some of the things I thought about retirement, what retirement was going to be, and it just didn't turn out that way. Some of them I knew about and figured out beforehand, but some of them I just didn't. And maybe some of you are in the same spot. Leave me comments if you found some things about retirement that kind of surprised you a little bit. One of the first thoughts I had as a self employed contractor, which I was for decades, I thought, well, I can always work if I have to. Well, that sounds good when you're 40. It sounds okay when you're 50. It sounds okay when you're 60. But past there, it gets a little sketchy. The reality is people get laid off. There's this thing called age bias, which we see in the workplace all the time. Although a lot of part time workers are older now because they want to or have to, but they have a lot of expertise in certain areas. Then you have the health issues. I thought I was going to work. I thought I'd be able to work, and I did. I worked until I was 70, 71. I was 71. I did my last job this year, but I just physically cannot do it anymore. And I think that's the case for a lot of us. That's just the reality of it. I was planning on working. I'd be working today if I was physically able. I really enjoyed my work. I took something ugly and made it pretty every day. Then you have this thing called inflation, which we always knew would be there. We just didn't know it was going to be to the extent that it is now. Another thing, we always thought we could downsize to a smaller house. And actually, this is part of our plan. We live in a big house. We live in a big house, 4 bedroom, 2.5 baths, 2 car garage. We don't need this house. We don't need this house at all. And to us, it's just a house. We've made it a home, but it's just a house. Not that big a deal. But that was part of our plan. We're going to downsize. Right before the pandemic, I had my real estate license. I got my license because I was going to sell some of my rental properties, and I thought it would save me money, and it did. Uh, but I thought we were going to downsize. But then I found out that all these other boomers are out there looking for the same thing. And the worst part is, we were competing for houses that first-time home buyers are wanting to buy. The little 3 bedroom brick ranch on a slab, or maybe a basement, maybe a garage, and so it just made it impossible to really find a house that we wanted. Plus, you had the 3% interest rates, which it was crazy. So we just said, we're going to stay where we are. So what we did, we downsized in place. Now, if you look back at my videos, you'll find a video about downsizing in place. We decided to stay here. In fact, I'm going to stay here. I don't know if I pass, if my wife will stay or not, but I've decided I'm going to stay here until they drag my body out of here. I really like the location, got some great neighbors, and so I'm going to stay here. But we rehabbed everything. We hadn't done anything for like 30 years, and other than what we had to do, because money was always a little tight. So we fixed it all up, spent a whole bunch of money on it, got new windows, flooring. We changed every outlet. Of course, we painted everything because that's what I did, and replaced light fixtures. But we downsized in place. We got the house we want right now. Only we didn't move. We didn't have to move to do that. But check out the video. It's a pretty good video actually, and not too many of mine are. Then we always heard the thing, well, I won't have any big expenses. Well, yeah, you do. It can be true. I think it's pretty true of our house, even our house we're in now. I mean, if we stay here another 6 or 7 years, I'm probably going to need a new roof, and I'm definitely not going to do it myself. I did it 12 years ago myself, but I'm definitely not going to do it now. You might have a car repair, some big car repairs. We've had a couple of those this year. You might have to replace a vehicle. You know, I got to tell you, there's a guy I know at church. I knew at church. He's passed now, but he was driving this. I don't know. It was like an '84 Buick something 4 door for as long as I knew him. And he drove that thing until the car lived longer than he did, because he lived it to be in his 90s. But he just never had to do anything to it. So I think that's kind of where I am. And then you also have the medical emergencies. Most things are covered with Medicare and supplements, but there are some things that are not. Uh, another big lie, I think, is you'll get to relax all the time. Well, I don't know about you all, but how much relaxing can you do? I mean, how much you're going to sit there on the beach somewhere sipping pina coladas? I don't think so. How many of those drinks can you have, and over what period of time? If you're not careful, you'll become bored. You'll become depressed. You just can't do that forever. Now, we do get to choose when we relax and how much we relaxed. I mean, it's late morning here in southwestern Ohio, and I've already had a nap. Of course, I was up at 4 o'clock and went to the gym, but I've already had a nap, so I consider that relaxing time. And then you have the people who think, well, I kind of fell into this category. I won't live that long anyway, so I won't need that much to retire. Well, that may be true and it may not be true, but you never know. That's not in charge of us. We're not in charge of that. Henry Ford, Ford Motor Company, he retired from his company when he was 58 years old, which is really young because he was in very poor health. Well, the man only lived until he's in his 90s, so he had a nice, long, relaxing time, I guess. So we just never know how long we're going to last. Then we have this myth, I call it, of our kids will take care of us. Well, thankfully, all three of my sons and their families, they're much better off financially than what we are. But do I count on them? No, I'm not even sure they would. I think they would help if they could. I'm sure at least one or two of them would, but I'm not counting on that, and they know I'm not counting on it, so it's all good. There's just lots of variables when it comes to your kids. Sometimes we're closer to our kids in retirement, and sometimes we're further away from our kids in retirement. And then you have the lie of Social Security will cover all my expenses. Well, that can be true. I mean, my wife and I do it. We cover all our monthly expenses on Social Security. But it's not always the case. Sometimes we have some unexpected car repair, something pop up, and but month in, month out, we can pay all our bills on Social Security. Now, the big 2.8% increase we're going to get for next year will not even cover anything, um, but you can live on Social Security. In fact, I did a video about that a while back, and you can live strictly on Social Security. I'll tell you how we did it there. But we also plan for unexpected expenses also. And then when it comes to medical costs, Medicare will cover everything. Medicare and your supplement or Medicare Advantage plan, it'll cover everything. Well, it covers most things. Now, in our case, it covers some dental, but not all dental. It covers some vision, but not all vision. And every plan is different. Every plan is different. We have a friend of ours, she had to get some specialized eye surgery. It cost her $12,000. $12,000. That'll put a that'll put a big hit on your retirement savings. That's for sure. So you just never know. You just never know. Here's an example for me. I had what's called an ablation. It's a heart ablation. I have a strong heart, but the wiring, as the cardiologist said, the wiring's a little messed up. So they had to go in. They went in through my arm and basically sewed a few things together on my heart. I'm not sure. They cauterized it, I think it's the term. And they accidentally sent me the bill because they had to make a change on the bill. It was 130,000, 130K for a 1 day procedure. I didn't even stay all night in the hospital. I walked out of there under my own power. It wasn't that big a deal. I had to pay like $300 of that. So I consider myself fortunate that I did not have to pay any more than that. But Medicare will cover just about everything. I'm not real too concerned about it at this point, but I know some things may not be covered, and we need to plan for that. So there's just a lot of things in the retirement gamut as it runs the course that we knew about. There's some things we didn't know about. And there's some things we just have to adjust to, and that's what we do. Let me know in the comments what you've adjusted to that you thought was going to be a little bit different. That's all I've got for now. If you got anything out of this, like, share, subscribe. Until we meet again, I'm going to continue to press on towards that goal.